I want to give you a definition of mental health. When I talk about that term, I'm talking about three things: thoughts, feelings, and behavior. If any one of those is having a challenge, guess what? You have a mental health challenge. I'm also going to be talking about stigma. And stigma, according to Webster's dictionary, is a mark of shame. You see, when it comes to mental health, people have a lot of shame around the subject of mental health. Stigma is also about thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You see, thoughts are stereotypes. You might have a stereotype in your mind of what someone with mental health challenges looks like. Feelings are prejudice. Maybe you know that I battle mental health challenges and you're uncomfortable around me. And behavior is discrimination. Maybe you know that Joe had a mental health breakdown and you don't want Joe sitting at your lunch table. That's discrimination. And the reality is, stigma really affects everyone because people aren't getting the help that they desperately need. So many of us are just walking around keeping things quiet in our minds, and that's not good. That is not good. People ask me sometimes where stigma began, and it's been with us since the beginning of time. And stigma doesn't exist just within mental health. It exists in other areas of life. I mean, COVID-19 masks. Apparently there's a stigma around wearing a mask. That's the subject of a whole different presentation though. But there are two things that I can think of when I think of why stigma around mental health exists. One is what I call the law of the tribe. We are tribal people by nature. Yes, even if you're an introvert like me who wants no one around and thinks they need to be by themselves forever, we all need people. Nowadays, you have certain friend groups and you know who's in the group and who isn't. Maybe in high school, there was a group that you were in that other people weren't in. And that's one of the reasons that stigma exists. Nobody wants to be the weird one. The other reason that stigma exists is what I call the law of confusion and frustration. Mental health challenges are confusing and frustrating. We can't just put them in a box. Most people don't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm depressed. Maybe I should go see a doctor." It doesn't usually work like that. People usually discover mental health challenges for you because someone has to confront you about your behavior, or things get to a point where you're so overwhelmed you need help. And if you keep those two things in mind, the law of the tribe, or tribal people by nature, and mental health challenges are confusing and frustrating, you have a chance to transform stigma.